Hello and welcome to Rain's Kitchen and Garden. My name is Rain. Today I'm making a very special cake for two very special little critters in my life, my hound dog Jack and my Rottweiler Raven. This is called the Love My Dog cake, and there is so much love put into this cake. They love it too. So let me show you how I make it. I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 180 degrees Celsius, or gas mark 4. And I have an 8-inch round baking pan. It's 20 centimeters, and I've oiled that a little bit with that light tasting olive oil. So in my bowl, I have my cup of flour, which is about 117 grams, and I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of baking soda. That's 3 grams. I'm just going to make sure that that's all well combined. Okay, I'm going to make a little well in the center, and I'm going to set that aside. And in a smaller bowl, I already have my peanut butter. It was very messy, that's why I put it in the bowl first. That's a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. It's anywhere from 55 to 58 grams. It depends, you know, how creamy, how oily your peanut butter is. And into that little bowl, I'm going to add 1 large egg. I also have an 1/8 of a cup of that light tasting olive oil, which is about 29 grams. I have half a cup of pumpkin puree, which is about 140 grams. This is pumpkin puree that I froze actually last year. If you're buying pumpkin puree, make sure that you get pumpkin puree, not pumpkin mix, because pumpkin mix has a lot of spices in it, and some spices aren't good for dogs. I also have here half a cup of applesauce. That's about 90 grams, depending on your applesauce. All of these measurements, when it comes to grams, they're very approximate, for me anyway, because I usually work with cups, and I measure all of my ingredients so that I can offer you both cups and grams, but it depends on your ingredient, right? So I'm just using a fork, and I'm going to mix all of this until it's well incorporated. When I opened up the peanut butter, my dogs came right up next to me. I think they associate that smell with this cake that they get once in a while. I usually make the cake on their birthdays. Well, I don't know their birthdays because they're all shelters. My cats and my dogs, we got them all from shelters, so we use the day that we adopted them as their birth date. So that's nicely incorporated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour all that into the well I made of the dry ingredients. Let me just use my spatula to get everything out of there. My oven is ready. That's something that's interesting, you know. When your oven beeps, it's not necessarily always ready. I always give it a little longer because I did a few experiments. I have a very wonky oven, and I set my oven for 450, and I put a little oven thermometer inside. And when the oven beeped, it had only reached 325. So I guess it depends on your oven. I personally just let it heat up a little longer after the beep before I put anything inside. Okay, so we're mixing that all nicely. Okay, everything's combined. I've got my 8-inch round pan here, lightly oiled, and I'm going to pour all of that batter inside. Oops, made a little mess there. Okay. Now I'm going to spread that evenly. Let's get all that off the spatula. And we just want to make sure there's no little drops of batter, because that little drops that are kind of stuck on the side of the pan, they'll burn. Okay, so I'm going to put this into my oven for 25 to 30 minutes. And you know what when it's done, when you push it down and the cake springs back. You could also insert a toothpick into the center, and if it comes out clean, then it's done. While the cake is baking, I'm going to make the frosting. So in my bowl here, I have a 1/4 cup of peanut butter, that's 55 to 58 grams, and I have 1/2 cup of plain yogurt, that's 125 grams. Okay, I'm going to mix that up all together. Frosting the cake is optional, but I think it's a nice touch. Your dogs will really love it. All right, so that's mixed up very well. I'm going to put a little bit of cling film on this and put it in the fridge so that it thickens up just a little bit. I let this cake bake for 30 minutes and then I let it sit on the cooling rack for about 5 minutes, and now I'm just going to put my skewer in. You could use a toothpick, and it's coming out clean. If there are a few little bitty crumbs on it, it's really not a big deal, but it's coming out clean, so I know that it's well cooked. I'm going to let this cool before I frost it. Now let's frost our Love My Dog cake. I've got my frosting here. It's been in the fridge for a little while, so it's thickened up quite a bit, as you can see. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and frost this cake for my dogs. They love this. And you know, someone asked me, do you give it to your cats? Well, first of all, our cats don't like it. But second of all, I would probably think twice before giving it to the cats, because one of our cats has bladder stones. So we have to be very careful about what we give him, you know, as snacks and for his diet and things like that. So I don't think I would give him any anyway. And also, peanut butter can be a little bit hard for cats to digest. Can you hear what's going on? That banging noise is my cat in the other room letting me know that he's aware that I'm making something special for the pets. Yeah, so there are some sources that say peanut butter is toxic to cats. There are some sources that say it's fine in small doses. I just would rather play it safe, you know? So the cats are going to get some fresh salmon. That's going to be their little treat while the dogs get their I Love My Dog cake. Now I'm being really picky here. I probably don't have to frost the side, but I'm going to anyway. I have all this extra frosting. I brought a glass of water out just in case the frosting stuck to my knife, because what you do is if it sticks, you just dip your knife or whatever, your icing knife, into the water and the stick goes away. I had to put the cats in another room while I was filming this because they were trying to jump up on the counter and they smelled the peanut butter. Now they're trying to get out. A little bit left. There we go. It's all frosted for them. Now I have a little bit of kibble here. It's just dog kibble, and this is purely for me. I want to decorate it. Just to make it look nice. Here, let me put this where you can see it. Dana, stop it. Dana is my tabby cat. I also have a ginger cat. His name is Oscar. He seems to be quiet right now. And the dogs are in my bedroom sleeping. I put the fan on so that they wouldn't hear me doing stuff in the kitchen. And so far they haven't discovered that I have the peanut butter out. There we go. Wait, wait. No, Oscar. Wait. Not yet. Pay attention, Raven. Pay attention, guys. Okay. No, Oscar.